welcome to this live. Yes, Dom did get cheered for against Gunther, and I love that. This Raw, did anyone think this Raw this was one of the better Raw since around, I want to say, Bad Blood? This Raw seemed like it was clicking on cylinders so much better. I don't know what happened, but it was really, really good. I'm going to talk about Dom, Ben, Liv, Raquel, Rhea, them first, and then we're going to get into the other stuff that I like. But this Raw seemed like it flowed better. We had storylines flow better. It was just a better Raw. I also had some comments from my that I put up on YouTube that I want to discuss, but that's going to be way later. So Monday Night Raw, we have the demented demon known as Finn Balor still trying to be the leader, but not actually claiming to be the leader. He's still not long for this world. If you notice how everybody's just really openly questioning him now, Liv was openly questioning him now. He's talking about how he took out Damien, and even Liv was bringing up, hey, I thought we discussed that you wouldn't go after Damien anymore. So that explains the big, huge gap between Bad Blood to Survivor Series. They had agreed behind the scenes for Finn to not go after Damien, and he's obviously broke that. So that's one thing. So he's breaking group trust there. And then Ben, with his demented self, talks down to Liv and Dom, still talking about how Dom let Damien be the number one contender. And then he's calling Liv sis and talking about how she's losing against Rhea. She's got all these people. And did you check and peep the look that Dom was giving Finn when Finn started talking down to Liv? That man was about to crash out on Finn, but he stopped himself. He started towards going, and Finn called Dom. He wasn't having it at all. It's obvious that since Dom split with Rhea, he doesn't want to be called Dom anymore, and that's one of the big things that Finn did. The big no-nos was calling Dom. So they were not having it with Finn. And then, of course, look at the split. You had JD and Carlito on one side, and then Dom, Raquel, and Liv on the other, and Finn's in the middle. But he's actively driving a wedge. But I think that wedge is not going to be long for this world. He's going to go out, because notice, like when Finn wants to go walked off, even JD's been the real one. JD's like, okay, what's Finn up to? So even JD, even though he may be joining Finn in the future, and I'll get back to JD in a little bit when I talk about Finn and Scrap Daddy, but JD again has been actively questioning what Finn has been doing, and that is so refreshing. I'm glad that they're not making JD just this underling that does what Finn wants him to do. He has his own brain. He's doing his own thing, and ever told Carlito and JD, I wouldn't have a problem with it, because JD has really been the real one for Dominik. Have y'all noticed that the skeleton seems like it's still forming in the background? I don't know if there's anything else that's been added to that skeleton, but that thing is fully formed. So that's another reason why I think Finn is not long for this world, because that skeleton in the back is really forming up. What else was I gonna say? And then Liv sends Dom to tag along, and I think Dom, people are still not giving Dom credit to being smart, because Dom following along just pretty much antagonized Finn, and it got himself a match. And I'll talk about this because later on he was tagging along with Finn and got himself the match. But he's being smart. He's been very smart, and people are not peeping that yet, or at least people at large. And then the funny bit of the night, or one of the funny bits, is when Liv and Raquel go to their tag team match against Damage Control. Carlito wants a good luck hug from Raquel, and he's rejected. It was like a blink and you missed it moment, because he asked for it. Tag team match with Liv and Raquel, and Damage Control. I really, really like this match. Io and Liv Io and Liv work really well, so I think their match on Saturday night main event is going to be really, really good. As long as she, who has not been named, doesn't involve herself, and get into her later. But I like their interactions. I actually liked how Raquel was looking better this match. It's like something flipped with all the progression now. I think people really took, I think somebody behind the scenes took to heart the complaints regarding Rhea and how everything is going on, because there was a lot of changes that I noticed. First, Raquel is being like 97, like you say. Raquel is looking like a powerhouse and actually being able to be a powerhouse. She was strong. She was throwing people around. She was big booting people like Big Daddy Cool. That's why I call her Big Mommy Cool. But she was looking really, really good, and I'm really glad that she was allowed to show that. I was really glad that she was able to do the Tejano bomb and pin Kari. I love you, Kari, but this is for the greater good right now. And then you're going to be in the intercontinental, and you're going to be in the intercontinental tournament in a couple weeks. So it is what it is. But I'm really, really glad that Raquel was able to get a pin. She needed that to recover from War Games. I really liked how both Liv and Raquel were selling their injuries. Take note, Damian Priest, and take note, Rhea. They at least were showing their injuries. They were selling their injuries, and Raquel looked really good. And I'm so happy for her, because she was being treated like crap, booking wise, and how she presented herself wrestling wise. So I'm really glad she was able to get that win. And then they started taking out Io, because of course, and then let's see who just pops out. As soon as This Is My Brutality hit, I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was so annoyed. I can't even enjoy, like, and again, have y'all noticed how it's her, how she's being structured to get the maximum pop? Of course, you're going to get a pop to save Io. I know what they're doing. It's kind of the same thing what they were trying to do with Damien, and it failed with Dom. They're structuring her entrances in such a way that she gets the maximum pop. Of course, you're going to get a pop trying to save somebody. At least now that she's trying to save somebody else, it's a little bit better, but still, she's got a long way to go. But the best thing about this is that she didn't, when she hit the ring, she did not immediately just take out Raquel. Liv dipped, and that's fine, because Raquel is supposed to be that bodyguard. And but Raquel was standing on business, and still notice that Rhea is still headbutting people. Woman, can't you sell? She sells this later, and I'm going to talk about it. But woman, can you at least try not to headbutt people with an orbital bone injury, a fracture, whatever you got? I don't know what you got. It might be fake or real, or it might be minor. I don't know. But why are we still headbutting people? And then you don't sell it. At least for this part, she didn't sell it here. But I really do like how Raquel just started wailing on her, and it was an evenly matched fight, for at least. Then they get out to the ring, and then Liv jumps in to help out Raquel, which I like. It's not like Liv just abandons Raquel to fight off Rhea. She jumped in there. She got slammed into the ring post, but then Raquel was able to send Rhea's eye. I guess she's channeling her former future stepfather-in-law, Rey Mysterio, with that eye thing, because she sent Rhea's eye into the announce table, and then she finally sold it. Finally sold it. I was so happy to see her actually sell that. Now, and I said, and I put that on X. Now you want to sell it, but you couldn't sell that in War Games. You see how ass backwards this stuff is now. She didn't want to sell anything in War Games and was headbutting people, but now that she gets hit kinda in the eye, she can go down and out. It's just so ass backwards with her. But so that's what I'm thinking now that I think about it. I think something was talked about behind the scenes, of somebody probably got to Triple H and said like, "Hey, you can't keep booking Rhea like that. You can't keep booking Rhea like that when she has an injury and she's no selling shit. You can't keep doing that. How it's like on the X, was it USA Network or was it no? It was WWE. WWE put out the most devastating attacks for 2024, and then they put Rhea as an attack, and then I quoted it and I said, okay, it was such a devastating attack that she was back 2 weeks later. You see what I mean? She could even be out for any length of time. She should still be out now, but hopefully somebody's gotten Triple H's ear and like got after him and said, like, you can't keep having Rhea act like that. She can't just keep bulldozing over people. But anyway, it does. This all sets up Io and Liv for a Saturday night main event, and then later on we will have next week Rhea versus Raquel. I put a poll here, if uh, who will win. Hopefully, they do not hot shot this feud by having Rhea win straight up. Raquel needs to get the win or at least a DQ victory, something to keep it going. Rhea should be tied up with Raquel for a while. Rhea should not be automatically going straight after the one match from Raquel to Liv. There needs to be some space there. And so hopefully Raquel gets that win. If not, I'm going to be crashing the fuck out next week. And then we have Finn Dom running up on Gunther. And Dom was the best troll. He was such a good troll. He got himself a match with Gunther. Finn rolls up demanding a title shot. I've never seen the audacity of the Demented Demon to demand a title shot just because you saved Gunther. Even Gunther was all hurt about it. He's like, I was trying to prove myself, and then here you come. Like, why should I give you a match? And then Dom was just throwing up the 2 and the peace sign after every point Finn made. Just such a troll. And then Gunther finally has enough of it, and is like, well, since you didn't pin Damien, but he did, and I'll give Dom the match. And then, of course, Finn is very angry about it. But I was like, I think Dom was doing that on purpose. Like, he wasn't just trolling just because to troll. That was a troll job to get Gunther to give a match, or at least get Gunther's attention to focus on him a little bit and take it off Finn. So now, since Gunther was so hell bent on not giving it to Finn, he could at least switch it up and give it to Dom. I really think that was. I really think Dom did that on purpose. It wasn't just a troll job. And then Gunther versus Dom. This match was amazing. Amazing in the sense that Gunther sold his ass off for Dom. Gunther, your world heavyweight champion, sold his ass off for Dom. And Dom was getting in the most offense that I've seen in a while, and the offense was effective. Meaning he wasn't just throwing offense and it was just bouncing off. It was effective. And I put on the X how is it that Gunther, our world heavyweight champion, can sell more than Damian Priest? Can you see that? So Damian can shrug off and not sell anything, but Gunther, the guy that I really don't care for as champion. I think I just don't like him as champion. If he was away from the title scene, I would have been fine with him a little bit more. But I think I'm becoming more liking him a lot more because of what he did for Dom. Because he sold his ass off. Can you believe that Dom got into a chop fight with Gunther and did not fall down? And then he made the man bleed like Dom. I actually like Dom's slaps, and I like the slap that he gave. See, Gunther thought he was gonna just run over Dom in the beginning, and then Dom just gave him that slap when he was going to go for a power bomb. Dom pulled off that hurricanrana, sending Gunther into the ring post. That was good. That was great. I love that. But just the image of Dom and Gunther getting into a chop fight where Dom is making Gunther bleed was a sight to see. And people, you see, I don't think people realize that Dom can chop and slap really hard. If you go back to NXT last year, Dom chopped the hell out of Ilya Dragunov. That's why I like Ilya and Dom's matches, because they had some really great, they had two matches in NXT and both of them were great. But Dom, and that's why I was saying, like, I was at that Ilya could sell for Dom when Damian wasn't, because Ilya sold it as a shot, but Dom can chop somebody. But it was so good to see it, and Dom almost pulled off a win. And see, again, Dom is being a really smart heel. When Gunther was trying to go after Dom got after used the ref to cover him blowing Gunther with his leg. That's a smart heel. It's kind of like how he did with when Bronson Reed came out in Saudi Arabia in that Raw, where he hid out of Bronson Reed's sight. So he's being really smart. And guess who else was very smart? His real father, Eddie. So it's just really nice to see. And yes, Dom got the dirty Dom chance. I was so, so happy he got the dirty Dom chance. So with the way Dom is acting now, I don't think he will be a face. He'll be a tweener. I think he could get to tweener status, but I don't think he'll get to actual face status because he's still doing heel moves. He'll be a tweener. But the crowd will appreciate him. He's probably going to be like Kurt Angle, where he'll get booed out of respect, and then he'll get cheered. But when he needs to get booed, like we're doing something like he being like a heel does, he'll get booed. So Don was being really smart, and I just loved it. I just love that he was able to get some really good offense in. It's been so long that we've been able to not see that offense where he just reacted. He went after Gunther. And also, in the beginning, he sent Carlito and JD in the back. But again, peep JD here. You see how JD was hyping Dom up before before Dom sent JD and Carlito back to the back, and then JD was like, "Are you sure?" JD has Dom's back. It's not like Dom wanted them gone, and then JD just takes off. JD was like, "Are you sure?" JD's the winner one. And then, of course, after Dom loses, here comes the demented demon named Balor, doing all the coup de grace and telling Dom to watch and learn. You do realize, my good sir, that what you did to Dom is what Damien did to you. I mean, it's real easy to do 3 and 4 coup de grace to Gunther after Dom something him up. And I think that's what's really going on with Dom now. He's really getting tired of being used to soften up people, soften people up for other people. They get to get the opportunities, not him. He's the one putting his body on the line to get these opportunities, and then that gets taken away and gets to somewhere else. So I'm thinking he's getting really, really tired of that. And if y'all peep his Instagram, he kind of has a frowny face around Judgment Day. So I think he's had it at this particular point. Also, oh, did y'all see the WWE shop commercial or promo with Liv and Dom? That was so cute. I'm gonna need them to do any kind of mistletoe thing. You can drag Raquel into that. I need that to happen by Christmas. And then later on, Finn runs up on Scrap Daddy, still demanding the title shot. And then Scrap Daddy was all like, "Oh, so now you want that title, but it takes a act of Congress to get you to put up your tag team titles." And then Finn says a critical thing here: "I don't care about the titles." Guess who he shares that tag team titles with? JD. And I bet you that comes back to haunt Finn next week, because JD is going to be like, "What the fuck? You don't care about the titles? I hold them with you, and you don't care." So we're gonna have Finn and Gunther on for Sunday night, Saturday. Why am I saying Sunday night? I'm still thinking about Sunday Night Heat. I don't know. But Saturday night main event is gonna be Finn versus Gunther. I fully expect Priest to come back and take out Finn here. So I don't think Finn is going to win. I really don't think Finn is going to win any kind of title relatively soon. Him or Damien. If we're not careful, they might have Dom slip in there as the world heavyweight champion. It's just a theory. It could go either way. Either they slot in Dom for Intercontinental because they are going to have because he is going to have that dark match with Braun on SmackDown this week, or they can slot him into the world heavyweight title. I really don't care. I just need I need him to get some kind of title. I don't like tossing around deserves a lot, but that's the guy that deserves a title for the amount of heat and interest that he's generated. And then this next week, Scrap Daddy wants to talk about the tag titles. They're talking about like people are thinking they'll put them up next week, but I don't think they're going to put up the tag titles next week. I think they'll probably set up where they want to have the tag title match. And I really think if they want to be cool with it or crazy with it, they could have Finn do like a double defense or at least one defense and then get another title where he has to defend the tag titles the same night as he goes for the title with Gunther. Because that would be really interesting. So they could do something like that. But I don't think the tag titles will be up next week because you're gonna have Braun Breaker going up against Ludwig next week. So I don't think they want to do like dual, and then you're gonna have the IC tournament thing too. So I don't think they want to do dual title matches next week on Raw. They might put it off for another Raw, but not for next week because I think they want to drive home JD probably going like, "You said you didn't care about this." And we didn't get any. I don't think we got any follow up to Judgment Day and on Raw Talk, so they might just be saving that for next week. Because I fully expect JD to be like, "What the heck?" And then after that, JD is probably going to get pulled more for Dom because like last week, Dom helped JD out. Dom saved JD's title, and then you have Finn saying he doesn't care. So who's going to carry more weight with JD, the person that actually helped him keep his title, or the one that said that he doesn't care about the title? And that's it for that part of the Judgment Day thing. Now for the other nice, cool stuff. The Punk Seth promo kicking off Raw was amazing. Punk kind of started off unnecessary cheap pop-ish, kind of about WrestleMania and things like that, and then Seth came out serving cunt, because of course he does, with his outfits. And then Seth just talking about how he wants to beat Punk's ass, and then Punk says, "I didn't even think about you," and then they start going at it. Somebody compared that little fight to kind of like Punk going after Luke Perry or Jack Perry from AEW, and I had to have a laugh about that. So they start going at it, and then Jay and Sami come out to break them up. And then Seth is all rah 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 about it, and Sami's like, "Hey, chill." And then we get the amazing promo between Sami and Seth, just going back over 10 years of history. 10. I didn't realize it's been the 10-year anniversary. I didn't realize it was the 10-year anniversary of Seth turning on Roman. Because it's one of those back and forth how the New Day had last week, where it's just they were able to hit points back and forth, and they were able to land harm. Sami was saying, "You created the monster of Roman Reigns when you turned on him." So he said, "You can't be innocent about this." And then Seth is firing about how Sami did his own chair shot to Roman, and then Seth was like, "You're not family to Sami," and that's another thing that keeps getting driven home. Have y'all noticed that Sami is not family to Roman and the Usos? That keeps getting echoed. But it's one of those promos where they're allowed to go back and forth and reach back in history. And in the back of my mind again, I'm thinking, why is it that we can't get that with Rhea? And I said last week, imagine what kind of promo we had if Liv, Raquel, Dom, and Rhea were able to pull from all their collective histories and throw zingers at everybody. Because Rhea could actually have, like I said last week, Rhea can have zingers to sell Liv. She could have zingers for Raquel. She could have and she could have zingers for Dom. It wouldn't just be one sided with Rhea. I think the powers that be will think that if they give that promo, it'll just be too overwhelming against Rhea, and it may be like that. But you can give her zingers for Dom. You can have her go after Dom for. It's kind of hard with Dom, but you can get after him for the cheating. You can do that, especially if they reveal that he was with Liv all this time. You can have her zing him for that. You can have Rhea zing Raquel because of what happened in NXT. Even though she said bygones be bygones, and I have said that, but you can at least zing Raquel for that. You can get Liv for some things too for the cheating. So it's not like it's very unheavily balanced against Rhea, but that's what happens when you stack things. When Rhea was just this horrid heel for 2 years, she's got to take the lumps. If Sami has to sit there and listen to like you're not really family multiple times and still be a face at this particular point, then Rhea can too. It's kind of like the same thing like with Bayley. If Bayley has to sit there and listen to Bianca not trust her, then then Rhea can do that too. You can't keep avoiding the past because everything just reaches to a halt when it comes to Rhea. Nobody can say anything regarding Rhea. And that's what's hindering the storyline. I'm just glad at this particular point that Rhea is away from Dom, that she keeps mentioning him. And I'm like, you need to stop, woman. With the reporter, like, even if the reporter brings up Dom, you could answer that in such a way where it's not emphasis on Dom. Say, I want to focus on my victory. I don't want to talk about Dom. Simple. But that's the kind of promos. Those promos between Seth and Sami are what's needed with Dom, Liv, Raquel, and Rhea, and for the women's division in general. And then we had Kofi and Xavier turning on Big E, and we were all sad about it. But they had a valid point. Big E pretty much kind of left them behind. I know he was injured and it was career threatening, and it still is. But now that he's coming to be their manager, they didn't want that. And this heel turn was needed. I thought they were going to do like Swerve and have like Kofi turn heel, but them turning together and then them going after Big E like that was needed, and that was a punch to the heart. But the New Day, as we know it, at least in this particular form, is no more. But they needed that change. It's been 10 years, so they need to change and they need to do something else. Other news, Dakota Kai advanced, and I was expecting that. Kind of wanted Shayna a little bit, but Dakota Kai, she advanced. Next week is Lyra, Zelina, and who was that third person? It's somebody else, but it's kind of filthy how Zelina got put into the same group with Lyra, because I wanted Zelina to kind of advance too. But now I'm thinking it's going to be Lyra that takes that. Unless there's like really good shenanigans in that match. And then Drew Daddy Back returned, being a menace. I saw somebody's post that Drew saw the hate radiating from Kofi and Xavier home in Scotland, that he was so stoked that he got teleported from Scotland to Raw just to beat up on Sami. That dude's a menace. I'm glad he's back. So now we're getting more interesting people on Raw now. People are returning. CM Punk, Seth, Drew, and now Sami and Jay have somebody to deal with now. So that's it for that particular Raw. I do want to mention a comment I got on my YouTube when I was discussing War Games. Somebody said that how come they couldn't have Rhea do the Riptide and then have place Io on top of Liv to show that she's changed. And I was like, that was a really good point. They could have done that. She didn't have to take the pin. Just do the Riptide. You got your revenge there. And then you place Io, the number one contender, onto Liv. And then if Team Liv had to lose that way, that would have been stomached a lot more than what we got. So that's a comment that I agree with. They should have had Rhea just put Io on Liv if they really wanted. If somebody had to pin Liv, it should have been Io. Thanks for tuning in to the Wrestling Receipts podcast. Remember to follow me on the X at WMaven WWE and on TikTok at WriterMaven for more wrestling insights and live reactions every Monday night after Raw. Until next time, I'm just saying.